So let's dive into drawing. I would really recommend keeping your mood boards by your side so they kind of can check in with them and make sure that you're drawing to your theme. And it can kind of inspire, like it should inspire what you're drawing. So in terms of drawing, I personally like to get away from my computer and go back to the good old-fashioned pen and paper for this. And I just sit down with my notebook and I just draw and draw and draw a ton of elements. And then hopefully I can see certain like motifs start to appear that kind of connect to my mood board and kind of answer those questions and check those boxes. So I might notice like a certain like shape developing, certain commonalities like line quality or a certain texture. In this mood board I was really talking about like kind of these like organic shapes. So I start to look at this and I integrate these kind of like really kind of fat floral shapes into it. And yeah, like those, I think, I look at this and I'm like, oh, I think that would work really nicely for hero print. Maybe this guy right here would work really nicely for a secondary print. So start to kind of think of the collection as you're drawing and making sure it kind of connects back to the mood board that you've developed. And in terms of next steps after that, you're going to need to digitize your artwork somehow. So again, in my first class, I went more in depth on how to do that. But for me, just to recap, I like to take a picture of my drawings, import it into my iPad, and use an app called InkPad, which is a lot like Illustrator in terms of all the tools. And the great thing is that you can export a PDF into Illustrator and retains all of the vector qualities, so you can edit it once you get it into Illustrator. So in my first class, a lot of people actually asked me what kind of stylus pen that I use, and its short answer is not fancy. I just get my stylus at the dollar store, so it's crazy cheap. I like this one because it's really small and has a really fine tip, so I don't think it's really necessary that you go and spend a lot of money on something like this. This one works just fine. Along the same theme, people were asking me what kind of tablet that I use, and I have a Wacom bamboo tablet, and this guy is really cheap, it's really inexpensive, and it works totally fine for what I need it for, so I don't think you need anything really fancy to do this. So yeah. Speaking of the tablet, another way to get your drawings in is to kind of scan them and retrace them with your tablet, or you can just draw directly in Illustrator just with the mouse. So it depends, whatever feels good for you, just kind of go with it. So yeah, we've got all of our motifs now, and we're going to be ready to start developing our hero prints, which is what we're going to talk about in the next unit.